Good morning, students. Today in this video, we will learn the uh, evolution of management. So, before going to directly evolution of management, just we will see that what are the different levels of management. So, top level management is determined, as you know very well, like there are three different types of management, levels of management: top level, middle level, and lower level. So the first one is top level management. So top level management determines goals and objectives. So as I told to you earlier, top level management only will decide about the organization's goals and objectives. So it performs overall planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling. These are the functions of management. So all these functions will be performed by the top level management only. Integrates organization with environment, balances in the interest groups, and is responsible for overall result. So whatever the overall result will happen, it may be sometimes it may happen negative, it may happen positive, but for overall result, the top level management is the responsible for either profits or loss. Next is middle level management. So the middle level management establishes programs for department and carries out functions for achieving specific goals. It means that whatever the top level management will take the decisions and will decide the goals and objectives, everything they will give the information to the middle level management, and middle level management has to accept that particular objectives and goals of the top level management which they are giving, and these people has to perform, and these people has to give the task to the lower level management. So training and development of employees, integrating various parts of the department, all these things will be done by the middle level management. Next, supervisory management, or we will say that lower level management. So lower level management concerned with efficiency in using resources of the organization. So whatever the organization resources are there, so those resources they have to consider, and they have to work efficiently, and they should give the output. Supervisor is an executor of policies and procedures, making a series of decisions with well-defined and specified premises. So, these people, like lower level management, supervisor, these people, and all, like whatever the policies and procedures they are receiving from the top level management, they have to understand that, and they have to establish with the lower level management. See in this diagram, you can see that lower level, middle level, and top level. So lower level, they should have more technical skills, less conceptual skills, whereas middle level people, everything they should have medium level, like technical skills, interpersonal skills, and conceptual skills. But top level management should have more conceptual skills than technical skills. So only they are given this one. Okay, so managerial skills, how it will be is lower level and lower level, middle level, and top level. Lower level, more technical skills they should have. Top level, more conceptual skills they should have. Okay. Next, technical, as I have already explained this, managers need three type of skills: technical, interpersonal, and conceptual. Specific subject related to skills such as engineering, accounting, and all will come under technical. So whereas interpersonal skills related to dealing with others and leading, motivating, controlling them. Conceptual ability to discern the critical factors that determine as organization success or failure. So conceptual is very important for the top level management, because they can take decisions based on this conceptual skills. And technical, they should know about the technical, but they, as they are not working on the machinery, they are not working on the operations, so they just know about the technical, but they no need to know the complete thing about technical, whereas the lower level management should know more about technical, very less about the conceptual skills. Evolution of management. So in this evolution of management, like how the management was there earlier and how it is now. Okay, so the classification is two types. The first one is early management approach, and second one is like modern management approach. Though it was there neoclassical approach, but we will not consider that. How the olden days, how it was there, and how the modern now how it is there, like that we are classifying this. So in under early management approaches, there are tailors scientific approach is there, FOIL's administrative management is there, and bureaucracy. Three types are there. The same way, modern management approach is also quantitative management science is there, systems approach is there, and contingency approach is there. So we'll see one by one. Under early management, the first one is tailored scientific management. So there are some principles he had given. Who Taylor's Taylor scientific management is giving some principles like time and motion study, differential payment, drastic recognition, drastic reorganization of supervision, scientific recruitment and training, intimate friendly cooperation between the management and workers. So what he is saying is it is a general approach. So Taylor's scientific management is saying that it is developed standard method for performing each job. So to perform any job in the organization, the standard method should be developed by the management. Okay, because like based on this method only, like people will come to know how to do the job, everything. Next, selected workers with appropriate abilities for each job. So they have to choose the workers for the for each individual job with the particular abilities, skills, and all. Next, trained workers in standard method. So in the standard method, they should train the workers also, because training is very important. Supported workers by planning work and eliminating interruptions. So whatever the problems are there, they should eliminate those particular issues and all, and they should give more support to the workers, and even workers also should support to the management. Provided wage incentives to workers for increased output. If the output is really good, more than expectation, then they should think about the increasing the wages, salaries and all. So this is the Taylor's general approach. So in this Taylor's general approach, some contributions like demonstrated importance of compensation for performance. Like whenever they are performing better, and whenever the output is they are giving output more than expectation, then we need to give some compensation to the employees. Initiated the careful study of task and job. So very carefully we should understand the people, how they are doing, how many people are doing, what they are doing, whether are they doing properly everything. Demonstrated the importance of personnel and their training. So they should demonstrate the importance of personnel and their training, like whatever they are doing the work. So if they require any training, the management has to identify that particular training, and they should provide the training also. So criticisms are did not appreciate social context of work and higher needs of workers. This is the problem. Like he has not mentioned about social context of work and higher needs of workers. Like whatever the needs are there for the workers, it has not mentioned anywhere that these are the problems they are facing, like that. Did not acknowledge variance among individuals. So when what they are saying, like some people are working and some people are not working. Because of the people who are working, the output may become more. But what they are saying, Taylor is saying that increase salary or do give some benefit to all the employees, like that. So here they are not differentiating the individuals who are working and who are not working. They are not making any different. That is also one of the criticism. We are not given any solution for this. Next, tended to regard workers as uniformed and ignored their ideas. So here workers as uninformed and ignored their ideas. Like what whomever they are not giving any information, and whomever they are not giving any ideas, and whomever they are not following the supervisors words and all, like they are not given any information that what we have to do them, like that. These are the criticisms. He has not given any solution for this, Taylor. The second one is in early management. Second one is administrative management. So this main focus in administrative management is the main focus. So administrative management, so organization rather than the individual. So organization is important than an individual, because the organization is the big one, and the individual, many individuals will be there in the organization. So it focuses that we should not give much importance for individual. Organization is important, like that he had mentioned. And he has focused on the management functions of like POSDs, like planning, organizing, commanding, coordinating, and controlling. So those things are also important for the management, like it has mentioned. The Henry Foyle has taken, he has developed 14 principles for the management. So we will see one by one all the principles. So the Henry Foyle managerial functions of planning, leading, organizing, controlling, and coordinating are routinely used in modern organizations. So whatever the modern organizations are there, generally they use these 14 principles along in these functions. So Henry Foyle's 14 rules of management, he had given 14 rules. So we'll see one by one. The first one is division of work. When employees are specialized, output can increase because they become increasingly skilled and efficient. So division of work is nothing but where they are really efficient, where they are really skilled. So you give that particular job only to them, then you can expect 100% output. So when you are dividing the work based on their skills, then the people will work efficiently and the output will be good. So only I had given the first management principle as division of work. The second one is authority. So managers must have the authority to give orders, but they must also keep in mind that the authority comes responsibility. See, authority is important for the next level management generally on their subordinates. But at the same time, they should feel that the authority should be like it is. They should consider that it has a responsibility, responsible authority, like that he has mentioned. The third one is discipline. Discipline must be upheld in organizations, but methods for doing so can vary. So discipline is very very important. So discipline must be it should be there in the organizations. Unity of command. So employees should have only one direct supervisor. Unity of command is nothing but like under one manager maybe 10 people will be there. So all these 10 people, they should give any job, like they should give any information to the next level person only. That is only one manager. They should not give the same information to other department manager. So whomever they are working in a department, that department head only the responsible for that, and they should convey the information to the department head only. Okay, so they are the responsible for that particular person. Next, unity of direction. So teams with the same objective should be working under the direction of one manager using one plan. This will ensure that the action is properly coordinated. Unity of direction is nothing but, as already they will be having the objectives or the goals of the organization. So they should work, all the team members should work to reach the organization goals. There is nothing but unity of direction. So only one person will give direction and all other people has to follow that. Subordination of individual interest to the general interest. The interest of one employee should not be allowed to become more important than those of the group. So the one employee's interest, they should not say that it is like the entire group interest or something. No, you should not be allowed to become the more important than those of the group. This includes managers. So whatever the organization goals and objectives are there, they should work, but whatever these people are having any intention, they should not give it to others. Remuneration. Employee satisfaction depends on fair remuneration for everyone. This includes financial and non-financial compensation. So remuneration is very important. That is nothing but salary. So employees will satisfy for their work when they receive the proper suitable amount of the work, like whatever the work they are doing, for that if they get any amount, okay, then they will be happy. But here he has given that it may be financial or non-financial compensation. Financial compensation is nothing but giving directly money. Non-financial compensation may be providing transportation, may be providing for them quarters, like this will come. Next, centralization. This principle refers to how close employees are to be decision making process. It is important to aim for the appropriate balance. So centralization means that like the employees also will join for the decision making process. Like the top level management will allow them to give any ideas, suggestions and all. So based on these ideas and suggestions, even top level management may consider their ideas and suggestions, and they can give, they can implement that. Next, scalar chain. So employees should be aware of where they stand in the organization's hierarchy or chain of command. So they should know that in the hierarchy, maybe top level management, mid level management, lower level management, president, vice president, board of directors, CEO. So like that, it will come like the department head, next supervisor, like that. Like where they are, they should know that. Like which position I am having, like that, they should know. Order. The workplace facilities must be clean, tidy, and safe for employees. So wherever they are working, it should be clean and tidy, and it should be safe, because because of that, the employee should not affect maybe illness, or sometimes it may happen accidents or something because of not cleaning, like that. So it should not happen. It should be clean. Equity. So managers should be fair to staff at all times, both maintaining discipline. So that is very important, because in the organization everybody are same. Maybe the positions will be different, but as a human being everybody are same only. So they should give minimum respect to the others, and they should receive the respect from the others. So they should maintain discipline. Stability of tenure or tenure of personnel. So managers should try to minimize employees, okay, because the company has to get the benefit. Initiative. Employees should be given the necessary levels of freedom, to create some new ideas. Like employees should be given necessary levels. When we are giving some freedom to them, then they may identify something and they may create new things also. Next, esprit de corps is nothing but like organization should strive to promote team spirit and unity. That is very very important. Team spirit and unity should be there. That is also one of the principle in the management. So these 14 principles file are given. Next, the criticisms, like what he had not given is like leads to formation of small groups, results in dissatisfaction of workers. When they are not happy, they are not satisfying, the workers are not satisfying, then what to do, like how it will happen, what next, like that they are not given any idea. So these principles results into formation of mechanistic organizational structure. Okay, so these things they are not given any information. Next, bureaucratic management under early management approach. So under bureaucratic management focuses on the overall organizational system and is based upon firm rules, policies and procedures, a fixed hierarchy and a clear division of labor. Okay, so bureaucratic management, whatever the rules and policies are there of the company, they have to follow everybody, like it may be lower level management, it may be mid level management. So Wax Weber, a sociologist and historian, is most closely associated with bureaucratic management. So he had given this bureaucratic management how it works like that. So it envisioned a system of management that would be based upon impersonal and rational behavior. So a system of management will affect like that. So conceptual approach refer to the group, like division of labor. As I told to you, division of labor is nothing but based on their work. Okay, they will be divided. Like if you take the one mechanical company, make maybe assembling section will be different, maybe the welding section will be different, okay, fitting section will be different, like that. So division of labor. Hierarchy of authority, whatever the hierarchy of authority will be there, like president, vice president, CEO, board of directors, like that the hierarchy will be there. Rules and procedures, the company will form or will make frame these rules and procedures, everybody has to follow. Impersonality, it is not related to a person, like whomever the person it is, they have to follow the company rules and regulations. Employee selection and promotion, even for employee selection and promotion also they will follow the same thing. Okay, next, quantitative approaches. This is modern management approach. Under modern management approach, this is a quantitative approach. So characterized by its mathematics, statistics and other quantitative techniques for management decision making and problem solving. Okay, so they use this mathematics, statistics and other quantitative techniques in this management decision. So four different characteristics are there, that is decision making focus, measurable criteria, quantitative model and computers. Decision making focus is the primary focus of the quantitative approach is on problems or situations that require some direct action or decision on the